Welcome, everybody. I would love to meet you. I know I've spoken to a few of you this evening, but I don't know all of you, and I don't expect you to know me either. Other than I know I've spoken to a few of you this evening, but I don't know all of you, and I don't expect you to know me either. Other than I know I've spoken to a few of you this evening, but I don't know all of you, and I don't expect you to know me either. Other than I know I've. That could really drive me crazy. Okay. Well, I am Christina Vickers, and before we start this evening, I'm going to open us in a word of prayer, and we'll try to keep this information to an hour or less, and then give you all some opportunities. If you need, there are some blank note cards out there. If you need to write down questions or whatever, and you're not able to stay, but you'd like some questions answered by email or phone call, you're welcome to grab some of those blank note cards out there and hand them to us at the end if you're not able to stay for all the questions and answers. But I'll go ahead and open us in a quick word of prayer, and we will get started. Father, we just want to thank you so much for this gorgeous spring-like weather and the change of seasons. Father, we thank you that you do not change, and we just ask that you would give us clarity on our roles as homeschooling parents. We thank you so much for the great opportunity, the great calling to homeschool, and we just ask that you would help us to do it for your glory and to raise up a generation of children who love you and live for you. And we pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. Well, like I said, I am Christina Vickers. This, as most of you I'm sure know, is my first year to be administrator for GCSHEA, and I just want to tell you all that I am really thankful for all your bearing with me as I'm learning all of this and also trying to homeschool my own children. This is our 8th year to homeschool. My oldest is 12. I have an almost 10-year-old and a 6-year-old. So we are busy at home, as I know you all are as well. So let's see. We've been with GCSHEA for 6 years, and I know many of you have been homeschooling for much longer and have been with GCSHEA for much longer, and I am really thankful for you because you are a help to me. I do want to, before we get started, introduce you to our board members, the ones who are here, and then I'll point out any committee members who are here. But if you are on the board of GCSHEA, if you wouldn't mind either standing or waving, raising your hand. So Michelle's coming in here. We've got Christine, and I'm not going to remember names standing up here looking at you all. So just take note. And we've got Ron up there. We've got Kelly, and I told you, Karen, Patty. And so, yeah, if you're going to try to ask me to remember everybody's names while I'm standing here facing you, don't. It's not going to happen. So, all right. So then we have our committee members. We have our elementary committee. So if you have a student from K-5 through 6th grade, the elementary committee approves your paperwork. So if we have any elementary committee members present, we have Shelley. All right, and Holly Gunderson. I don't see her. She's, I think, our chair head, and for that committee, and it's a small one. So if you are interested in being involved in one of the committees, that would be a really good one to jump in on, and if you can ask about that. And then we have our high school committee, and our high school committee is over the 7th through 12th grade. Even if your 7th and 8th grade are technically not taking any high school courses, they fall under the high school committee because they can potentially earn up to 5 high school credits in 7th and 8th grade before they enter 9th grade. But if you are on the high school committee, if you would mind raising your hand. We've got Temple up there. We've got 3 down here. Michelle's on the back row. Michelle is our chairwoman for the high school committee. So if you have questions, you can ask them, because when you ask me, that's what I do. So I am still learning a lot, and I appreciate it. I have learned a whole lot. So we're not going to go through all the information that is in the handbook this evening, because it is available to you online. Hopefully everyone here has registered on our website, because there's a lot of useful information, and really and truly you need to know that handbook. And I did not realize how much I needed to know the handbook until I took this position. So I do want to just point out the homeschool law and where GCSHEA sort of goes beyond that homeschool law. But if you notice, and I know it's hard to see, again, you don't have to read it all, but some of the main information that you need to know about homeschooling is, I don't even know if I can read it, honestly. The part towards the bottom here, we are a third option accountability association. There are 2 other options. I'm not going to go through that because we're not them. So you need to hold at least a high school diploma or a GED. Your instructional year needs to be at least 180 days. Your curriculum must include, but does not have to be limited to, reading, writing, mathematics, science, and social studies every year in all grades. And in grades 7 through 12, you need to add composition and literature. And then you need to keep educational records to include some sort of plan book, a diary, or other record indicating the subjects taught and the activities that your student is engaged in. And you need a portfolio of samples of the student's work. And then, of course, you have to turn in your semi-annual progress report that indicates your attendance. So just a little bit of clarification on that. The instructional year must be at least 180 days, and per HSLDA, the Homeschool Legal Defense Association, this law does not allow for sick days or teacher work days. It must be 180 actual days of instruction. The school year can begin anytime on or after June 1st, but it must be completed by May 31st. So if you need to take time off in the fall or in the spring, and that's going to happen, or it might be a possibility, it's better to start earlier in the summer so that you have your 180 days. That's a non-negotiable. All right, so in addition to the law, GCSHEA also requires that a minimum of 75% of your planned curriculum be completed each year to constitute a credit. So obviously in elementary school, you're not necessarily getting credits, but you need to complete at least 75% of your curriculum for that year. But for high school honors classes, if you have a high schooler or you're planning on your student taking honors classes in high school, your student must complete 85% of the planned curriculum each year, except for, and I'm going to hopefully let Michelle help me talk about this later, except for Saxon Math. We have a new policy going into effect next year for high school Saxon Math, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that, but that's going to be a little bit different than the 85%. Also, so you need your plan book, which it can be a calendar, it can be written out, full lesson plans, but you need a plan book. You need some set of your students' work, and then we have you fill out a report card at the beginning of the year, at mid-year, which is due January 10th, and then one due June 10th at the end of the year. And that should give you time to finish by May 31st and then have that turned in by June 10th. And one other thing to note is we're only allowed to be members of one association. So we cannot be, you can't have a membership with us and with some other association. It's against the law. So let's see. Yes, ma'am. You could do that. You can't have right. You can't have the same child under two. Yes, that's right. That's good clarification. All right, very good. Okay, so that is basics of the law. And if you do have questions that come up, and you can feel free to jot them down. I do want us to have a good question answer time at the end, and I'll have whoever can help me answer your questions do that. And if I can't answer your questions, I will get back to you. So yeah, definitely do that. So, okay, so part of membership in GCSHEA is agreeing to our responsibilities of membership, and that is also on our website. So once you have registered on our page and you've gained access to all the documents on the page, on the web page, you will see the responsibilities of membership. And so you need to read through that so you can agree to that. I've only put part of it up here, but you do need to read and uphold the policies in your handbook. So if you have an elementary student, you need to read the elementary handbook. If you have a middle or high school student, you need to read the high school handbook and agree to it. You need to agree to teach all those basic instructional areas. In grades 7 through 12, that does include composition and literature, and in high school, math, science, history, and English must be taught all 4 years. Even if you have high school credit from 7th or 8th grade, you still have to have those credits in high school as well. And then you need to agree to have your 180 days and submit the reports, the parent report card, which we're going to look at in just a minute, your mid-year report card by January 10th, your end-of-year forms for each student, and you have to put the percentage of how much you have completed of your curriculum on that at mid-year and at the end of the year, and that is due by June the 10th. Your renewal is also due by June the 10th, and we have new things going on with our renewal that we'll talk about in just a little bit as well. But if you have a senior graduating, that paperwork is due by May the 10th because we have to turn that in before they can graduate. And then we do require that your student take standardized tests, and the ones that we accept are in the handbook, and we are currently working through other tests that maybe we haven't added to the handbook. But in the 4th, 5th, or 6th grade, they need to test one time, and then again in the 8th or 9th grade, they need to test. So really, you can have them test every year from 2nd, 3rd grade on, but we only require that you turn it into us in either 4th, 5th, or 6th grade, and then again in either 8th or 9th grade. And then, of course, paying fees on time. So hopefully our new system will make that even easier to do. All right. So for parent report cards, I know most of you have seen this before, but we're just going to review ever so quickly. your beginning of the year paperwork. This is also available on the website once you have logged into the site. Over here, this is the elementary report card. You just need to indicate which curriculum you're using for each of the areas, and then it gives you an option for adding in anything else that is not covered under the 4 required. And you need to put the provider, so this, for instance, this says BJU Press, and the grade that it's for. And then that needs a signature and the date at the end on just the beginning teacher date. You don't have to fill in any of the mid-year or end-of-year information at the beginning of the year because things happen. So you may have to take some days off, and that's understandable. But one thing I do want to point out is that this signature down below needs to be a real signature, not a typed signature. Okay, so when you turn that in each time, we need a real hand-signed copy of that. And then this is our high school report card. You'll have your beginning date for your classes and your end date, and some of your dates may not start all at the same time. In a minute, I'm going to show you a slide where if you have put a class down and you're not sure that that curriculum is going to work, or if something happens and you're not able to take that class, you might want to put a later date than what you actually started, because if you withdraw after 10 days of your start date, it has to stay on your report card, and it's considered, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, it's considered withdrawal failing. Okay, so good. All right, and then you also need to put what level, so if it's 9th, 10th, whatever it might be, in this column, we need that for every class your student takes. And then we also need whether it's a college prep, if it's a dual enrollment class, or whether it's an honors class in this column for every class as well. And then how many credits it's worth. Again, all of this information is available on the in the handbook, which is on the website. So, so that's the beginning of the year paperwork. And then for mid-year, you'll put either, you can choose for elementary school whether to put satisfactory. You can give them a letter grade. It's up to you for elementary school. It's there's more information down at the bottom there, and how much of the curriculum has been completed. Same for your high school, except you need a number grade for your high school courses, and then you'll need a mid-year signature and date for both of those. And then at the end of the year, you put how much you've completed on there and the final grade, and you sign and your student signs the high school report card. So for anyone who might be new, all right. And again, if you have questions, please feel free. Yes, ma'am. Right. Middle school falls under the high school bracket. Honestly, for 7th and 8th grade, for 7th and 8th grade, if you're not doing high school credits, you can choose to fill out either of those report cards. It will still come to the high school committee, but if you're not getting high school credit for anything, you can fill out the elementary. All right, so this is just a quick, we follow the uniform grading policy scale, which is a 10-point scale. So it starts at, it's 90 to 100 and 80 to 89, things like that. So All right, and this is what I was talking about. So if you're not able to complete a course by the end of the school year, you must assign it an incomplete. This course will be assigned a withdrawal failing with a grade of 51 per the SCUGP. So you've withdrawn after 10 days of the beginning date if you have to do that and you can't complete it. So it has to stay. That's more for high school than elementary. Yeah, okay, good. All right, and so this, I'm just showing you this. This is also in our handbook, the assigning high school grades. Basically, it's encouraging us that it's more for high school again. I know we have a lot of elementary in here, but you need to be hearing this as well. If your curriculum maybe does not have a set of tests and you're responsible for assigning the grade, we just ask that you reserve 100s for above excellent work. So because your students are in a class that is being ranked, so if you give them 100 on everything just because they really made a good effort, it's really not fair to all the other students in the class. So again, you can look at this on the website and it'll be a whole lot easier to see than it is up here. But if you use unit studies, non-traditional learning approaches, or electives that are hour and participation based, the grading scale should be a little different than a curriculum that has tests that you have actual numbers to grade by. If they've earned 100, by all means, if they were perfect in what they did, by all means, give them the 100. But if it's kind of, you get to decide, but they did earn an A, give them a 95. So it's just fair. All right. And I will, again, if you have questions, I will let you ask those questions in a minute. Okay, HSLDA and GCSHEA, we have group discounts with both of those. I don't know if any of you tried to apply to HSLDA have tried recently, but when I tried with our code, the 299212, in August when our renewal was due, it wouldn't work. So I finally got a hold of HSLDA, because actually they contacted me first because I forgot. But and they have fixed that. So if you've had any issues with our code working for HSLDA, our information is updated. That's the Homeschool Legal Defense Association. There are lots of discounts for homeschoolers, and it's all on their website. So it's a great organization to be involved in. And then GCSHEA, you apply for that online. It used to be that you would apply through your application to us, but we no longer take care of that. You do that. And the deadline for that is September 1st of each year. Okay, so in just a minute, I will show you our website and just give you an idea, if you haven't been on in a while or maybe you haven't applied yet, where to go to apply for membership and where you're going to see hold on a second here. Okay, so this is, I guess, some new information for you. Okay, so I'm going to show you the website in just a minute after we get through this slideshow. Because from here on out, you will renew or you will apply through the website. So you'll get on, and if you haven't been on in a while, it's going to ask you to update all of your information. And then I think it should send you an email telling you what you owe, and you'll pay through PayPal. So we will no longer be taking paper applications and checks. It should make it a whole lot easier to renew and pay on time. and then we won't have to try to figure out how to make it to the bank either, and we can get your money where it will go straight where it needs to go. Let's see. So the things that we do not have the ability to take online as of yet are the parent report cards. So you will still need to mail those in on time. All right. So your end of year is due June 10th. For the following year is due July 10th. And then your mid-year is still due January 10th. Okay? So, excuse me. If you have not applied yet, there is a non-refundable $100 application fee after you've submitted your membership request, and then you'll have access to all this other paperwork. But we also need, if you've not applied yet, we need a request for student records for each student that you have, so that, now I didn't get to research this, somebody tell me this, the request for student records, do they send that to us, or do they download that to send to their past association? They send it to their past. Okay, so good. So we don't get the request for student records. You send that to your school or association, and then they will send us any information on your student that we need to have for our records. All right, so we also need a copy of the primary instructor's high school diploma or GED certificate, and the address to mail those things to is right there, or it's on the website as well. Okay, so once you've updated your profile, you should have your renewal balance available up at the top right-hand corner, and I will show you that in just a second. But since it's going to be easier for us to go ahead and go through the Saxon math policy, we're going to do that before I show you the website. Okay, so this is for those of you with high school students. I don't have the current policy up here, but just know that it is different. It will be different starting this coming school year, 2019-2020. Saxon has 2 separate math series now, and the policy that this is regarding is for the 2nd and 3rd edition, okay? For Algebra 1 and Algebra 2, starting next year, you'll get 1 credit for each of those with 75% of the curriculum completed. All right? If you want honors credit can they get honors credit for Algebra 1 and Algebra 2? Okay, so you can get honors credit for either of those, but you have to complete 85% of that curriculum to get honors credit. I believe we have in the handbook what it takes for any class to be honors, and that would include this one. Do they have to do something different for math than any other? Okay, so that honors is in the handbook. Look at the handbook. You really need the handbook. All right, so for geometry, and this is probably, I think, where it starts to get a little different. You get 1 credit after completing the remainder of the Algebra 2 book and lessons 1 through 60 of the Saxon Advanced Math curriculum. So if you weren't going for the honors credit and you only got 75% of Algebra 2 completed, you would need to finish that and then 1 through 60 of Saxon Advanced Math. Even if you did honors and you finished the 85% of Algebra 2, you would need to finish the final 15% and lessons 1 through 60 of Saxon Advanced Math. And honors credit is automatically granted for that geometry course. All right, so after completing the lessons 61 through 125 of Saxon Advanced Math, you can choose to give your student either one pre-calculus credit or a half credit each of trigonometry and pre-calculus. Okay, so the entire book has to be finished to get that full credit. And that is also automatically an honors credit. So this does not follow the 75% rule for Saxon Advanced Math, second or third edition. It has to be all the way completed. And that puts us more in line with the publisher and their intention for those courses. So, all right, I think we might be ready for the website. So we're going to go back just a little ways, so back up with me here. All right, so up here, that's okay. All right, so up here you have, over this direction that we don't see is a place to log in or register. And once you have logged in, it's going to ask you to fill out a lot of questions. And that's where you will want to, if you have, well, I don't remember if it will ask you to to answer these questions every year or not, but it'll ask you to agree to the rules and responsibilities of membership, to the grading, what was that? I've already forgotten what that page is called. Yes, assigning high school grades. If you have a high schooler, you'll need to agree to the assigning high school grades. And then you will see your balance up here. So if you're just applying, you'll have a one-time non-refundable $100 application fee. And then every year by June 10th, your $100 membership fee for your first child, and then I think the cap is $170 per family. I think it's $35 extra for the second child, and then it caps at $170. So your balance, though, for however many children you have, is going to be up here, and you'll be able to go up there and pay it. My hope is to get to where if your information is current up here, because I've told some of you, I have had a time getting a proper email list this year because I keep forgetting to add an email into my list, and then I'm going back and making a new list. And so my goal is for everyone's information to be updated here so that I can send emails from here and I have everybody's accurate information. So if you haven't been on in a while, that doesn't mean that you have to go and pay your membership now. I would love to have whatever accurate information may not be on there. It would just do my heart good. So, all right, so once you've gone up here to the login, like I said, it'll give you a page. You won't be able to go anywhere else until you answer all those questions. So that is really the Saxon Math for our high schoolers, and the fact that you will no longer be renewing by paper, and you'll be paying membership on here as well, are really the most important things. But we really wanted you all to be here to be able to ask any questions that might bring up. So I believe what I have to say is completed. So if you have any questions, yes, ma'am. Facebook, yes, we do. We have a Facebook page, and that is where we will hopefully put out announcements about prom, we'll get to where we put information about scholarships, things like that on our Facebook page, and maybe even at some point have the ability to post a video like of this meeting to where you can go back and hear information again, which I know will help me a lot. So yes, so if you are on Facebook, is it under, I don't even remember, is it GCSHEA or is it Greenwood Christian School Home Education? I don't even remember. Okay, so she's gonna find out for us exactly. It's under GCSHEA. Okay, yes, sir. We would love for there to be. As of right now, the website does not have that capability. So I have not heard whether they are getting that or not. So it would be nice, wouldn't it? I know on the website it says that you can mail it or email it to me. But the only thing about that is it needs to have that signature and not a typed signature, even if it's in script. So if you can sign it and scan it back and email it to me, and that would make it easier on you, feel free to do that. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Yeah, as long as you have it available, you don't even have to have a hard copy of it, as long as you have it available if you'd be asked. No, that's a good question. Yes, you just have to keep it. That's right. That's a good question. She just asked if you have to send in a hard copy of your plan book. You don't. Because honestly, I don't want it. I already have a lot of paper and I don't need it. So as long as you have it available in case you're asked, but we have to ask you to agree to that. And that's just part of our agreement. So, yes, ma'am. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Well, that would be instructional. Yeah, so she said her curriculum for kindergarten is only 160 days. So field trips, classes like that, in fact, I heard someone say the other day that they consider a trip to the grocery store, and teaching them about taxes and, how much things cost and things like that. I mean, I just heard someone say that. I'm not telling you should do that. But, things like that. So. I don't think that has to be on the, I'm looking for some confirmation here. Does that? She said, like, those extra things, do they have to be on the report card? If That's right. And something Karen just said, yes, your mid-year paperwork should indicate right around 90 school days, and the percentage completed should be close enough that we can see that you will be getting at least 75% of your curriculum completed. So, yes. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Okay. Okay, so how much of my students' work needs to be kept at year's end? And the answer to that is we recommend one test and one work assignment in every month in every subject. So you don't have to keep everything. Just one test and one work assignment in every month in every subject. Okay? Okay, so, okay, I'll do my best. You know I'll ask questions if I don't know. Okay, so how do you get junior scholars for 7th and 8th graders and then again in 11th grade? Are these two different awards? Okay, good question. So in 7th grade, wait, yes, please.
Yes. Okay. So you have to be identified for the junior scholars in middle school. You have to be identified as a 7th grader and you have to meet the Duke TIPS eligibility criteria. I did not look those up, but they should be online somewhere. And you have to be invited to attend either their state or grand recognition ceremony for Duke TIPS. Or you have to be eligible to take the PSAT and score a 550 or better on reading and writing and a 530 or better on math. Or, not and. Then, if you get all of that, you have to tell Christina that you want her to submit your child's name to the South Carolina Department of Education. You can have all that stuff, but if you don't tell her you want it submitted, it won't get submitted because we have to know that that's what you want. Okay. And then for the 11th grade, if you're interested in the junior, like 11th grade junior scholars programs, those are different for every college. That information is not always easy to find for homeschoolers. It doesn't come in a nice package to Christina. So if your child is interested in Landers is due the end of February or the 1st of March. That one I know because my child did that. If they're for Erskine, I don't know what that one is. So you have to look it up and find out and then tell Christina that you want her to submit your children's names. And if you don't submit your PSAT, SAT, or ACT scores, she won't know whether they're eligible anyway. So you have to submit those with your grades. I think that's everything.
And I will say I have submitted for Lander already, and I'm about to submit our juniors for, I think it's Presbyterian College. So if you have a junior looking at either, well, they've been submitted for Lander or Presbyterian, I'm about to do that as well. So, right. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
How do we go about getting them signed up for tests?
If you need, like at the Iowa, are you thinking of Iowa? Just let me know. I have a list. I will be ordering those tests, and that leads me to let you all know that I will be needing some more proctors. So if any of you, I believe, I've got to go back and look at all the requirements, but I believe it's a high school. Or is it a college? Do you have college degree? 4-year college degree. Okay, very good. So you have to have a 4-year college degree to be able to proctor one of the tests. And we have a range, I think right now, of, if I remember correctly, maybe 4th to 9th grade. So, and as of right now, I know of 2 willing proctors. So I'm going to need some more. So just let me know if you are willing. And yes, so just I'll put your name on the list. And that is a $45 fee for that test per student. So, all right. Yes. Yes, that's right. Christine just said the standardized testing does not have to be through us. We offer it as a convenience. But the Stanford is, we accept the Stanford as well. And there's a couple others that we accept. So look in the handbook, and it'll tell you which ones are accepted right now. And like I said, we are planning on revisiting some others because some others have come up as possibilities. So. Anybody? I don't want to rush us, but if you don't have questions, I also don't want to keep you longer than necessary. Yes. Okay. Testing for AP classes. I'm. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, okay. Because, yeah, someone who has a high schooler, because, like I said, mine's 6th grade, so I haven't dealt with that yet. So, all right. Anybody else? All right. So, will you be sending me anything for renewal? Will you be sending me a check? The only thing you'll need to send me is your report card. So for beginning of the year, end of the year, things like that. Yay. Might make it a little bit easier, I think. All right. Yes, ma'am. Well, if you need us to meet with you before the junior year, but it's generally before the senior year to go over the. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And, if you have questions before that, obviously, please ask. Because I will find out. I'll ask one of these people that know a lot more than I do. So, and again, I do want to say, I really do appreciate y'all just encouraging me and bearing with me as I am learning this. And I have appreciated working with you all this year. So, oh yes, there are 2 tickets under 2 chairs for a couple of door prizes. So you might want to reach under your chair or a blank chair next to you. Because we appreciate you being here tonight. They're little blue tickets. I don't know. I wasn't the one to put them under there. I really don't know. How far? Yes. Oh, okay. Oh, so only one person is sitting in a blue ticket seat, and then there's one up for grabs. So it's okay. It's stuck up underneath the bar, underneath the chair. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Prom, yes. Oh, yes. There are prom tickets. If you have a 9th through 12th grader, there are prom tickets available out there. Anything else in particular that we need to share about prom other than the tickets are available? Okay. Yeah. Convenient. So April 13th. All right. Very good. Very good. All right. Did anybody find the ticket? Wow. Sure. Okay. All right. Mr. Brian, you get to choose between some bath gel or some fresh baked banana bread. Which?
Smell the bath gel.
If you want to open, I have no idea. Okay, thank you. All right. So somebody needs to find the other ticket so they can have some of this delicious banana bread. Oh, it's towards the back of the seat. It's on this side. So if you're sitting on this side, it smells good. So it's I'm going to have to choose somebody to give this bread to. All right. All right. Yeah, he really is, isn't he? What's that? Oh, woohoo! Good job. All right, here's your prize. Yes, sir. That's right. Yes, sir. Okay, well, thank you all so much for being here. If you have any questions and you don't want to stick around, feel free to write them on a note card and leave it out there. Feel free to email or call. And just a reminder, on Tuesdays, I'm not in the office because we have classical conversations all day. But Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I try to be available if I remember to take the phone with me between 2 and 5. And then my hours will change again for summer. So anyway, all right. Well, thank you so much. Feel free to stick around, ask any questions, and